I went to I was just, alhamdulillah, able to go to Masjid al-Aqsa for the first time.
Al-Quds.
Al-Quds, right? In
And
Jerusalem.
Al-Quddus was in the name of Allah that we went
Exactly,
over.
we did. So I remember it was cold.
Yeah.
It was cold that week. It was actually pretty cold. People were walking into the masjid with jackets. And so we asked...
It snowed this year there, didn't it?
I don't know if it snowed. It's possible.
Was there
possible.
snow or ice there when you went?
No, there was no snow.
It looked like you brought a little bit of snow and ice back with
I
you.
brought back some paint. So I had... we asked the people there what the heating system is of the masjid. And so they told us there's no heating system. The only thing that warms this place is our hearts. Al-Aqsa is interesting because in the sense that it doesn't really have...
I mean, it's an old structure, right?
No, but it doesn't have the funding. Especially when you go from Mecca and Medina.
Right.
That has all the funding in the world.
They have like heating and cooling outdoors.
Yeah. And then you go to Masjid al-Aqsa and you just... not even a heating system in place.
Just recently you came back from a Mecca, Medina, Jerusalem tour, right? What would you say is, I guess, the most memorable moment from each city?
That's a great question. So, the most memorable moment from each city. So, I would say there's so many. I mean, in Mecca.
Did you go to Mecca first?
No, we went to Medina first.
Okay.
So, in Medina first, what was the most memorable moment? So in Medina, the most memorable moment for me, I guess I'm just going to shout out whatever just pops into my head as being the most memorable moment. In Medina, the most memorable moment for me was going to the mountain of Uhud.
Okay.
I loved going up until where the archers are and kind of reliving that moment.
Where they let their post down?
They let their post down, but you're right there. Like, this is the spot. You know, it's not even a mountain.
You can see the battle happening.
Yeah, you can see the battle happening. So, and I was thinking to myself, like, everybody just goes up onto the mountain.
Does anybody ever climb Uhud itself?
I'm sure people do.
Okay,
but I've never.
What about the trek behind it? The
time it took.
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't see that part. I mean,
that it would be something I'd be like, you know what? Let's see how long it takes. Like, how much time did they?
I don't even know if that trek is still there though. I mean, they tell you.
I mean, it's just going around the mountain, right?
Yeah.
They get on a mountain bike.
But what's interesting was that they were telling us that the mountain of the archers is actually a lot smaller now than it was 1,000 years ago.
Because of wear and tear?
Because of wear and tear. And, you know, the mountains are very sandy and things like that. And everybody just keeps going up there. But something interesting that I was thinking about was like, you know what? If this mountain was like in America, they would have been selling bows and arrows next to it.
I know, right?
Everybody's like,
souvenirs
and
everything.
Everybody's like, yeah, definitely, because you get up on the mountain, you're kind of like, where's my bow and arrow? But nobody thinks like that.
One thing I realized is that there's, like, you go to a lot of these, I guess, tourist spots here in the U.S., there's always gift shops.
There's always gift shops. And that's something else to think, when you think about, like, Mecca and Medina, there's still a lot of historical sites that are completely, like...
ignored?
Yeah, nobody cares about. So...
Like, for the locals, it's just like, whatever, it's there.
In Mecca, we climbed Ghar Hira again. Yeah. So this is my
Everybody goes to Ghar Hira, though.
Nobody does.
What do you mean?
Nobody does. The reason why is it's such a arduous trip up. Like,
well, yeah, but it's packed. Well, I went during Hajj. Maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, but you think about how many people from your group went.
That's a good question. Actually, we separated from the group to go.
Yes, exactly. It's not like everybody goes. It's just, you're talking about from thousands and thousands of people, maybe like 20, 30, 100 people will go up that mountain. And so I had went up with our group, and we were actually a full bus, so maybe like 40 people went.
Okay. Now, did you guys take the stairs that they carved out?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, come on.
Of course, but it just reminded me of is that it's like, okay, here's like such a this is one place that you know for sure the Prophet ﷺ. When you're walking in Mecca, you don't know, but this is literally this little small, and Jibreel, both of them were there.
They got so much graffiti and stuff on the sides, man.
They have graffiti on the sides. They have trash on the sides. So it's
like, why? Like, I'm wondering why don't they maintain that spot? Like,
not only that, you would think that they would sell tickets and like all sorts of things, you know?
Gift shop at the bottom.
Yeah.
Get your own like replica Ghar Hira or whatever.
But again, this is just American capitalism that's kicking into our money.
Get your keychains and posters and...
Jerusalem, the memorable experiences were so many. One of the things that I kind of was astounding to me was how fluent everybody was in English.
In Jerusalem?
Yeah, incredibly fluent.
Okay. But did they sound like British folk?
They sounded like their own folk. They didn't have like a particular, but it was just everybody was very fluent in English. The city itself was captivating in its beauty. The city itself the people there were very warm.
Now, when you went to Jerusalem, did you come going through Tel Aviv or?
We did.
Okay.
We went into Tel Aviv.
And did you guys have any issues going in?
Not really. It was a 3-hour wait.
Okay.
General security checks, and then they let us through.
Gotcha. So you basically flew into Israel, and then you had to drive into Jerusalem, or?
Yes.
Okay.
We flew into Israel. We flew into Tel Aviv, and then it was an hour drive.
Okay.
I mean, everything there is like 15 minutes away from each other.
Interesting.
You're hearing about these big spaces. Like Gaza to Jerusalem is like a half-hour drive. Wow. It's right there.
Okay. And it's like a slow half hour, or is it like?
I don't know. We didn't go, but it was just from what they told us. It's like it's a half hour. Like a lot of these places, they'll be like, if there's no traffic, it's 20 minutes away.
Interesting.
West Bank is 20 minutes away.
It's like I'm imagining New Jersey, the size of Jersey.
Probably smaller.
Okay.
Probably smaller. It's just very, very, but it's very blessed. You know, you feel blessed in these places.
Do you, like, people say, and I've heard this description from, like, some of the other AlMaghrib instructors, but the feeling of honor. And history.
Absolutely.
And heritage.
Absolutely. Because it's this old city and you feel that it's old. And at the same time, it's foreign. And at the same time, it's familiar because you've seen these images all of the time. And you feel honored because it's not easy to just show up. I know people who have wanted to go their entire life. I wanted to go my entire life. I wasn't expecting to go.
This was your first time?
First time. I wasn't expecting to go. And all of a sudden, I find myself in Jerusalem praying in the Masjid Aqsa. And you would appreciate this. The people of the Masjid Aqsa, it's only 3 or 5 rows that pray there. Because so many people are banned. If you're under 50 years old, you're not allowed to go.
Really?
Yeah.
This is for real?
Yeah, for real.
I've heard it. I didn't think it was true.
Like the news reported it, and everybody was. No,
but like, you know how they like. There's a lot of stuff that people say about different things, but like,
you're not allowed to go if you're under 50 years old unless you're from Jerusalem itself.
Okay.
So
how does a foreigner like yourself?
Well, we're foreigners.
Yeah.
We're talking about Palestinians who are banned.
Oh. If
you're a foreigner, you have a visa to go. You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
So we would go, and there would be guards at the door asking us where we're from.
Okay.
And are you Muslim?
Yeah.
And then maybe even ask.
Are the guards themselves Palestinians, or
some of them are?
Okay.
Some of them aren't. And so.
But they're like all Muslim or no?
No.
Okay, they're just
the ones outside the ones inside are all Muslim.
Okay.
That's not even true. There are some who would be walking on the Aqsa complex who weren't Muslim. When we walked in, I mean, their job, so to speak, is to protect or to prevent non-Muslims from entering into Aqsa.
Okay.
Prevent some crazy settlers from walking in or, causing trouble. So when you go into the masjid, it's literally like 3 to 5 rows.
Okay.
And so they call themselves the Murabitin.
Like the Moroccan Murabits?
No, they talk about the post because to be in ribat basically means to be standing post.
Okay, like a soldier on watch.
You're a soldier on watch.
Okay.
And so everybody who's praying in the Masjid Aqsa, they call that community the people on watch.
Okay.
Because while you are there, you're literally guarding the masjid.
The watchman.
You are literally the watchman of the masjid. And it's an amazing experience, really.
So, what are they actually doing? Are they actually standing posts and watching?
No, but their presence there,
okay,
their very presence in the masjid is preventative.
Okay.
And so they're conscious of that.
Gotcha.
They're cognizant of
but what are they preventing against?
They're preventing from anything. They're preventing from settlers who might want to come in and cause any sorts of trouble. They would be preventing from... There's a lot of...
tension?
Yeah, there's a lot of tension and there's a lot of ill will.
Okay.
Towards the masjid and towards the people in it.
Now, what about, from amongst the Muslims themselves? Did they have any, did you get any kind of vibe from them?
The only vibe we got from them was incredible happiness that we were there.
Interesting. What was their feedback?
Literally, they were telling us, welcome home. literally they were saying, we're so happy that you're here. Literally they were passing around coffee and any other gifts that they could give you while you were there.
Yeah.
So it was incredibly welcome.
One of the interesting things was you did was it Facebook Live or was it recorded and posted later?
No, it was Facebook Live for Fajr.
Okay. For Fajr you're doing Al-Quds.
Yeah.
Or Quddus from Al-Quds.
Oh, that one I uploaded later.
Okay.
But it was...
but it was recorded there.
Yeah. It was really... And that's another thing. Masjid al-Aqsa is like... it's empty, and at the same time, there's no real, like, authority over it.
Interesting. Okay.
Like in Mecca and Medina, if you sit down and try to do a class or something, just anywhere in the haram, soldiers will come up and they'll, tell
like
you to
this
get
is
up
not
and move.
authorized, and this is, you have to get clear.
But in Masjid al-Aqsa, there's no authority that will do that. And so in one sense, it's very free.
Okay.
You can sit down and you can teach whatever you want, but at the same time, that's not really a good thing, is it? Because then anybody can teach what they want.
But then again, not anyone can get in, right? Unless they have a visa.
Not anybody can get in, yeah. That's true. But it's just that dichotomy, right? At the same time, it's kind of like it's free, but at the same time, it's...
So how does it play out when it comes to if there's a restriction and a ban for anybody less than 50, and they show that the whole Temple Mount Aqsa compound is packed during Ramadan? Are all of those people?
I don't know about Ramadan in particular. Also in Jum'ah, it's packed.
Yeah.
But Jum'ah, it's packed because the people of Jerusalem all come and attend it there.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in Mecca and Medina, it's not just the people of Medina that are filling up the Masjid al-Haram. Right? It's people from the guy commuting from the next town over.
Right.
It's the people coming from all over Mecca to come in. So Jerusalem's a smaller city, much smaller. And at the same time, you have all of these towns that are 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away. If you're in the next city over, you can't come.
Right.
You're 20 minutes away, you can't come.
Kind of like an American situation. Right? Like, if you're not going to drive to another masjid if there's already one near you, right?
Exactly.
So I'm assuming the people who are 20 minutes away from Aqsa, they probably have a masjid or a musalla.
They would, but you know what? If I'm 20 minutes away from Masjid al-Aqsa, maybe I would pray Fajr and Isha there.
Okay, makes sense.
People do that all the time, especially when you have places that
but they can't do that.
No, they can't. If they're from outside of Jerusalem, they can't.
Okay.
They might, not only that, they can't come for Jum'ah either.
And so the thing I'm trying to understand is that unless you live in Jerusalem, actual Jerusalem, then you can go. But if you don't live in Jerusalem, you're not even allowed on there. So being in close proximity sucks.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people who have lived 15 minutes away from Masjid al-Aqsa and never prayed there in their life.
Wow.
20 minutes away, never prayed.
All because they're not allowed to.
Yeah.
And this is a law or something.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, the mobility is incredibly limited. Incredibly limited. It's all behind licenses and permits and checkpoints and all of this type of stuff. So when we first arrived, we had one girl who was delayed in our group, and she was Palestinian. She's the only Palestinian in the group.
She was delayed at the airport.
At the airport. So she was the only one who was interrogated or questioned.
Sure.
Everybody else, we were all detained together.
Okay. But she was held back.
Yeah, we were like 35. We're all detained together. Okay. She was the only one who was held back. And, they had asked her a lot of questions. And eventually, we're like there at like 2 a.m.
At the airport.
We got there at 9, and now it's like 11 and 12.
Okay.
And everybody's on the bus. Everybody's on the bus.
Gotcha.
And we're just waiting for this one girl to come out, one sister to come out so that we can all go.
Yeah.
And so what's going to happen? Eventually, one person is going to say, well, why are we all waiting for this one person? Let's just have her take a cab when she's out.
Yeah.
Have 2 guys wait for her
at
the airport, and everybody else leave. So
that's what happened, right?
Our local lead there basically had to get up on the bus and tell everybody, calm everybody down and say, listen, man, there's no such thing as leaving people behind on the side. We don't do that.
Interesting.
Number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, there's no such thing as just get a cab.
Oh.
Like, check your privilege back in America. There's no such thing as getting a cab. Why?
Uber? I mean...
Why? I mean, they said there's no such thing as getting a cab. And
I know, but
what about Uber? Come on, man.
No, but
there's no such thing. Okay? What there is, what he was explaining to us is this: is that you're in Tel Aviv airport. All of the cab drivers are Jewish.
Sure.
They will not go to East Jerusalem where we're going.
Oh.
They will not take you there.
Okay.
Number two.
Is it because they're not allowed?
I don't know.
Okay.
But he said they're not going to go there.
Okay.
Number two, you can't call a cab from there.
From Jerusalem?
Yeah, you can't call a cab from there to come pick you up. Why? Because for them to come into the airport, they have to have a ticket of a arriving flight. This one's already arrived 5 hours ago. You're not going to be able to get that ticket. They're not going to be able to get into the airport. Number four, because the question was asked, well, why doesn't the bus just go drop us off and then come back? Instead of us waiting for 4 hours. And he says this bus was already searched for 1 hour before it got here.
Oh, wow. So logistically it just becomes
permits and like just that notion of you going, dropping off somebody at the
so
airport,
much
coming back, and then making another trip to the airport, which we would do without blinking.
Yeah. Like that's a privilege that doesn't exist.
Yeah. And definitely not Uber.
You just started laughing. Yeah. So I guess for anybody that's going with a group, you would advise bring some reading material?
Yeah. We did our group icebreakers there.
Okay.
You know, everybody, alhamdulillah, had great spirits. We were just sitting there. That's where we got to know everybody while we were all together.
Okay.
Yeah. I would advise reading material or just get to know the person next to you.
Gotcha. So, now...
But that should not dissuade anybody from going. It's wonderful.
Okay.
It was absolutely wonderful.
Pros way outweigh. You forget about that later. Okay.
That was forgotten the moment we left the airport.
Okay. Gotcha. So now you talking about, and let's close out with this. You weren't planning on going to Jerusalem at all.
No.
And this thing just kind of landed in your lap.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
I'm not quite sure how these things work, to be honest. I mean,
you're like, I have no idea. I wasn't planning on it, and the next thing I know, I woke up in Jerusalem.
It's a beautiful thing. Some things you ask for, but that goes back to just one of the names of Allah when we talk about Allah being Al-Wahhab, or maybe when we talk about Allah being Al-Mannan.
Yeah.
There's so much that you ask for that He grants you, but the vast majority of the things that He grants you, you never ask for.
That is true.
The very vast majority, 99% of what He grants you, you never ask for in the first place. So sometimes they're big enough that you
finally recognize it.
Yeah. The trip to Jerusalem. But most of them are
I think among the things is like, how great of a blessing is it for us to live in a time and place with all this technology? Like, we didn't ask for that. Like, we could have been born 1,000 years ago.
Yep.
How sucky would that be?
I mean, for you, I would have been a conquering king.
1,000 years ago, you would have been under colonized oppression.
Okay, first of all, check your history, because colonization was like 200 years ago. So.
No, colonization ended 200 years ago.
Even 400, even 500 years ago. Come on, man.
We're talking about...
Watch, but I was going to edit this part out.
Look.
Let's
do the calculations, right?
Okay,
let's do the calculation. It is 2018 right now, okay?
So 1,000 years ago, so you're talking about 1018.
1018. We're talking 11th century, okay? 11th century is when they got as far as they could in Spain.
Okay.
Right?
Who got as far as they could?
Muslims.
Okay. So who's being colonized?
So at that point, that's when the efforts to divide and conquer begin. The first corporations were established around this time.
All I'm saying, Europe is not colonizing anybody in Africa in the year
foundations are being
You can talk about foundations all you want. I'm just saying, I would have been in my village in Sudan, chilling. I would have been fine.
Well, and 1,000 years from today, people be like, man, it would be sucky to be born in 2018.
Maybe, who knows? You know, sometimes people look back at the glory years, but undoubtedly, the lavishness of our lifestyle, is there's nobody. I don't care which king, Cleopatra, king whoever, Pharaoh whoever. They were not able to
have running water, AC unit, sleeping on a clouded foam mattress bed. Cars
flying all over the world, be there in 12 hours. It's just
and within the decade, you can be anywhere in the world in less than 2. With all this Elon Musk rocket tech.
Oh, I haven't followed up on that, but that would be incredible too.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Just fun warm up. Enjoy, and look forward to some more fun in the coming weeks, days, or if you're just going on another marathon, enjoy.